I'm often asked, how do you choose which plants go into the trials? And really, it boils down to the breeder, what they want to include in the trials. What is new that's come through the breeding program that they're very excited about and they want to promote. That's one reason for trialing certain plants. And this, for example, this is a brand new canna lily. It's hard to believe it's a canna lily, but this is started from seed and it's going to grow very quickly. But what's really unique about this one is from American Tacky, and it's in a series called Canova. But it has a really interesting petal that is covered in spots. So it's a multicolored petal that's called gold leopard. To have this multicolored bloom from seed is really quite unique. And so American Tacky is one of those breeders that is focused on canna lilies and is coming up with some really nice plant material from seed. Here I have a nice little yellow flower, a doubled flower on a stalk. This is actually a sunflower. What's really unique about it is it's the first double sunflower that's going to bloom all summer long. So this is propagated from cuttings, and it's going to bloom throughout the season. It's going to essentially turn into a bush covered in sunflower blooms. So this was very widely promoted at California Spring Trials, and everybody who visited there was excited about it, and I'm excited to be able to trial it at Landscape Ontario and elsewhere. Just for comparisons, this is another plant in that same series. This is Sunfinity, single with a dark center, and this is an all-season blooming sunflower as well, but it has a single flower. Sometimes the breeders are, like I mentioned, just coming up with different flower sizes. This is a Nemesia, and it's just increasing the diameter or the size of the bloom that make it more florific and stand out. This is a series from Danziger. The Nemesia is very fragrant, but also adding to the size of the flower makes it more attractive in the garden. Pollinator-friendly plants are always trendy, or have been for the last number of years, and so the breeders have sort of made notes of that and keep on coming up and noticing plants that seem to attract a lot of pollinators in their gardens. And this is an example of one that was released at the California Spring Trials this year, and I'm trialing again. This is from Ball. It's called Monarch Magic. So from that name, we were going to say that it's monarch butterfly friendly as well as other pollinator friendly. So this would be a great food source for nectar source for pollinators in the garden. It's ageratum. We've had ageratums before, but this one, you can tell from its habit here, it's very, very vigorous grower, and I suspect that we're going to see a very large plant in the garden. I'm looking forward to trialing it and seeing all the pollinator visits during the summer. So we've seen trends amongst breeders coming up with more compact plants to help with growing. If we look at this plant on the bench, we have this lovely little mound of petunia flower leaves here. The plant is not growing into its neighbor compared to with a plant like this. And I just pulled it off the bench in the neighboring greenhouse, and then I had to pull it away from its neighbors. From a growing point of view, this becomes problematic that when we separate out the pots from each other in the tray, they rip the plants, and it doesn't look near as nice as something that is entire, like this one. If you were a grower, you would try to use a growth regulator maybe to keep this plant more compact while it's in the greenhouse. I mean, when it's in the landscape, you want it to spread and take over, right? But when it's in the greenhouse, it could be problematic. So there's this trade-off. Do you try to grow a plant and chemically keep it small and tight while it's in the greenhouse, and then once it's outside, it can take over? Whereas this one is going to stay compact all the time, and that may be really suitable for a small backyard where you don't have a lot of room for a monster plant like this. And it might look really nice on your patio table as a living flower arrangement. So there's a variety of different things, but I think there is a tendency to get more compact just to make it easier to carry, market, You have a plant that looks better for longer with less work. I think that's just been a long-standing trend that's continued, then it's marketed accordingly.